there, boys, girls, and squirrels. My name is Modstab. Welcome back to Satisfactory. Well, in last episode, we did things, we got stuff done, and in the fashion of Satisfactory, you just continue plugging away, okay? That's all you can do. All you can do is look at what you need to automate next, and then you automate it. Now, that being said, we do have advanced steel production automated. I do want to make sure that that is the best option for us, which I'm pretty sure it is. Let me see what we have here. Yeah, jump pads are useless. Yeah, and we need the encased industrial beams to be able to do logistics as well as hypertubes, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So either way, we're going to need to do that. So we do need to automate our steel pipes, which means we're probably also going to want to automate our steel plates as well. So in order to do that, we are going to have a foundry where we're bringing in both iron as well as steel. Now I do know, iron as well as steel, iron as well as coal, excuse me. Now I do know that we have some coal over that way, but I do kind of want to go on a nature walk, see if we maybe can't find a better place for coal production so we can kind of bring everything together and keep it as centralized to this area as possible, because I want to keep things as close as we can temporarily until we progress all the way up through the tiers, so that we can go ahead and get to the end tier, figure out what the last machine is, and then automate everything from descending order from there. So before you guys see me again, I'm going to go ahead and locate some coal and some iron. Hopefully they're right next to each other and we can bring them straight back to this base. Everything is going to be kind of crafting as we do so. There are a few things that are not operating at 100% efficiency because our belt speeds are not quite optimal for what we have running right now. But that being said, we did just upgrade and throw in a handful of coal generators here. We're getting close to the extent of what we can do off of that area, but we may be able to find a creative way to fix that. All right. Well, either way, I've rambled on far too long. I'm going to go on a nature walk, and we'll see you guys when we get there. All right. So I realized that I was doing a bunch of math, and I was thinking, and I was brain holing all over the place, and I wasn't bringing you guys on that journey because I'm a dumb head. Okay, that's all there is to it. So we did find some coal. We did find some iron. We found a pure iron node and 2 normal coal nodes. Now, what I did come to find out is I would need to double the production of all of those so that we can have 240 iron, 240 of the coal, and that will leave us with 5 foundries that we were able to kind of produce. I'm assuming we're going to want 3 for the plates and then 2 for the rods or whatever it takes, provided that is the correct number of efficiency. We'll figure that out once we get there. But we have what we need to get that started, minus the transportation. And now here's the catch with that. Okay, I think we're hurting for certain on our production of these bad boys right now because our screws aren't traveling fast enough. All right, so we're gonna have to probably, what might be the best option, let me think here. I'm wondering what our best option would be for this. Temporarily, let's go ahead and shut these guys off. All right, so we're going to just turn these guys off for now, since we don't need the frames for what we're doing in today's episode, so that these guys can get a little bit of a backlog. They do technically produce ever so slightly faster than what that guy can use them, but we need these more urgently than we need those. So the goal here is to make sure that we can get as much of this as possible so we can get those tier 2 belts as fast as possible. And so maybe we can find a way to make that 240 iron split off into 2 ways right out of the gate, so we're splitting 120 on each belt and then running it from there. However, I don't know if that's going to work. We have some math to do, but that is the thought process, and we're going to build things in the best way we know how, which is horribly. So we'll see you guys. Actually, why don't I walk you over there, because it's not that far away from the base. So I did find a centralized location where we can actually build all this stuff. So if we go just over this hill, let me iron again, because I think the iron is actually over this way just a smidge. I guess we'll find out in just a minute. No, I think the pure one was over that way. You're normal? Yeah. So this was the pure one right up here. You guys can kind of see that I did work on that just a smidge. So let's go ahead and iron again. Or was it this one? Good Lord, there's so much iron here. It's just hard to keep track of. Yeah. This was the pure one. No. Where was the pure one? Ah, this is the pure node right here, okay? So this is what we need, and we're going to be running it up into this little section here. Now, I did mostly use the land to just kind of get up there as quickly and as efficiently as possible without totally destroying the aesthetics. So if we kind of pop up here real quick. Now, we don't have to use the stairs. I like how the stairs look. So we run up here, and jump right up. We're going to have this be our little steel production platform, and then we'll just feed everything that way via belts, which is why why we turned off some of the other machines there to get those running as smoothly as possible. We do have the 2 normal coal nodes down there, so we're going to go ahead and craft a Geno on those. But with that said and done, we just needed the 3 miners and the 5 foundries, and we are off to the races. Let's go ahead and do this thing, because we're going to have to overclock all of these machines to make them work. So I'm gonna shut my filthy little cakel, and we're just gonna move on. We're gonna move right on out of here. All right. So we have our coal and we have our iron. Now here's the catch. I gotta figure out where I want these guys to be feeding in. Speaking of, I'm just gonna go ahead and throw this little section here. I gotta figure out how I want these to feed in so that I can optimize the kind of spacing as much as possible. Now, I am going to have to feed in both resources pretty evenly amongst these guys. So, I need to figure out how it needs to be split. And if I remember correctly, so we can do 5 of these for 240. Now, I think it's 45 for each. So, we're going to have to do 2 dedicated, and then 1 is going to have to be splitting. So, we got to, we could do 2.5 technically for each belt that comes into this. And so I got to figure out the best way to split that up. And that's going to take some brainstorming, but I think what I want to do is there's going to be 2 belts no matter what I do. Oh, good Lord. So I think technically speaking, we're going to run the belts along this backside because I think that'll save us the most belt real estate. And so what I think I'm going to do is kind of start it like right here, question mark. Yeah. I think we'll start it there. And we'll just kind of go down the line here. And we'll do probably 1 gap in between them, I think. We'll give it a shot. Worst case scenario, I'm wrong, as always. But you know how it is. Okay. Now, I don't know. Okay, is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Okay, so we do technically have more, or we have room for 6, but we'd only need to craft 5. So, I don't know if this is the most efficient way to feed everything into this. However, it is the way we are going with because it is the only way I know how to do things. We can't get in between the middle, so what we'll do is we'll put it on the right side just before we get to this. All right, cool. And I'm not going to worry about running the power lines or anything right now because, quite frankly, it doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and get them selected here. Okay. So what we could do, what I'm thinking, okay, this may be dumb, this may be cool. So what I'm thinking is we're going to have 2 belts there. What if I feed one of those coal belts to this side? Run it in so it saturates here, and then has a half point there. And then we run the other coal from the other side so it saturates, and then in the middle it kind of merges. And then what we could try to do is see how we would do that with the pure node over there. Because technically, we could run that as a 2 belts, 1 to this side, loop it around, run it to that side as well, and do the same thing. I think that's what we're going to try to do. However, we are going to need some belts to make this happen. And so I have some work ahead of me. But we will get that brainstorm plotted out, and we'll be right back as soon as we get there. I'm going to need a lot of belts for this. Okay, so here's the catch. These are all going to have to merge into this guy. So we're going to need a merger. And the merger is going to have to face away. Oh, wait, so we're going to need 2 mergers, though. We're going to need a merger for each unit, so we might have to take these back just a smidge and stack them on top of each other. Because we need the merger to play there. What if we took the merger... What if we did this? And we just put the 2 mergers on top. So then we can have everything merge and go that way. And then for here, what we would want to do is split for... So we'd want to have 1 split for coal. Yeah, what if we did that? What if we did this? We just split right on top, just like that. Because then we could split coal or iron, and then we could go coal or iron, whichever one it is. And we would want to do the same thing right over here. Wait, it's a freaking merger, Devin. You don't need 4 of them. You need 2 of them, because you can bring it. I'm so smart. I'm so big-brained. Big brain plays have just unlocked, my friends. Big brain plays. Okay, so now we need to do splitters here, 2 of them, to be precise. We put them this way. Wow. Okay. Well, genius. All right. So because I filled my inventory with things that I probably need, but not in quite that level of excess, we're okay. We're doing fine. We're going to go ahead and, well, apparently fall to our death. Okay. I'm just kidding. After realizing how dumb I was being, I came to the conclusion that rather than trying to do like 12.5 mergers to make everything work, I could just do 2 mergers, right? Because what we'll do is we'll just feed the coal, for instance, on the top over here, the coal on the top over there, and then we'll do the iron on the bottom here, and we'll run both of these into the merger. So that'll finish whatever's left over on the line will be fed into this, and then we can run it into here. Now, that being said, I do not have the rank 2 belts ready quite yet. So in efforts to get this thing built on camera with the most time efficiency possible, we are going to stick with the level 1 belts and the level 1 razors. And then as soon as we get a backstock of the plates, or reinforced plates, then we'll transition everything on over. But in order to do this in the most efficient way, I'm going to put these back to my inventory. Because here's what I'm thinking, all right? We have 1 here, next one there. All right, perfect. Easy peasy. 1 here, next one there. This is like I actually thought of a design for once. You know, I wasn't being entirely dum-dum head. It's all good. It's all good. All right. And then what I'm thinking is we're probably going to go ahead and put on a pole. I think we'll put a pole right here. Or should we put a pole? That is the age-old question. We do need it at the very least to be stacked like this. And then we can take that conveyor stacky stacks McGee pole, and we can put it back as far as it'll, you know, let's put it right there. And then we can actually run from here into there. Perfect. And that'll make sure everything is flowing in the correct direction at the very least. At least that's the goal. All right. All right, and I think we're good because we have everything kind of focusing towards that middle section. And so if we put a lift or a razor down, it doesn't become as big of a hassle. All right, let's get back in here. Give me that pole, boy. Give me that pole, boy. Yeah, and we'll do it here as well. Because then we can just take this guy, It's going to look a little hideous initially, mostly because that's just how this life is. Okay, are we encroaching on others' clearance? Oh, do I have to go up one more? That would be a little awkward, wouldn't it? Much interest. Such sad. Well, either way, we're going to go ahead and double stack that just so it's not even remotely an issue. And we'll have a little bit of an awkward like entrance where everything is inclining or whatever. Declining, subclining, reclining. I don't know, but it's happening right meow. So I'm going to go ahead and put this together. Essentially, all we're going to do is run this guy here, one belt up to a lift to this area, and then we're going to take one of those guys, flip dippy-doo around. We'll probably come up and around on this section just to reduce the actual belt cost as much as possible. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, and then we'll just do a lift, and then we'll come up into that. And we'll do the same thing on the other side, and I think we'll take the coal and run it up along this edge. That way, 1, you can hide it, and 2, we can make everything look as neat and beautiful and tidy as possible. Oh, it was this guy that was making weird scuttling noise. Anytime I hear a scuttling noise in this game, I lose my mind because I think it's those stupid spooter boys. All right. Either way, I've rambled on far too long about what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and do it, and we'll either leave a time lapse or we'll just show you when we're done. So I guess we'll see you when we get there, friends. Now, this is fairly hideous. I'm not going to lie to you guys, but we have it. Everything is powered on. All the belts are ran. How many dibbles do we have right now? We used somewhere in the ballpark of 600 plates to get all this up and running, which I think is about as efficient as we're going to be able to make it. Now, I could be wrong, and I do certainly reserve that right, but it's okay. I don't remember if we have this in the video, but we are overclocking this to 200%, even though the belts can't handle it. The reason being is we're going to be able to monitor our power consumption just to make sure it all works. As it stands, I mean, we're doing a solid job right now of getting everything up and running. We're looking beautiful on the consumption rate. And now our stuff up there should be able to get connected because we have plenty of wiggle room. So let's go ahead and get that up and running, huh? It's got a long freaking ways to travel, baby. All right. That's okay. I mean, once again, by the time we get our upgraded belts to the 240 that we're looking for, we'll be okay. We'll be in business because we only need to take 240 up to here where that splitter is, and everything else can be 120. And that is a easy solution. Oh, we're out of the wires. But that being said, I know I have a butt ton of coppery doppery do, so we can just craft it right here. That's sick. Love it. I love it so much. That being said, we have a bunch of actual copper in our inventory. So why don't we go ahead and smelt that while we're chilling as well. All right, so now we are back at it, connecting everything. We did get all of our, raw materials kind of crafted and everything like that. So we are ready to go there. Everything is going to slowly be fed into these machines until they are able to craft. Now, once again, these are not crafting at 100% efficiency because we just don't have the belt capacity to do so. And so I figured, why try to upgrade these if we're waiting for the next tier on that one anyways? Because it's just going to be a matter of time before we can get to it. And there we go. I'm mostly concerned with how this middle one works. Like, does it get the right amount of thing? Oh, that was like a brush going through the bottom. I was like, what in earth is that? But it does look like we're starting to get some resources coming in from that first side, which means we got a couple minutes before they'll come through on that back side. Everything's looking pretty solid. From here, what I want to do is figure out a constructor, see what it's going to take to get steel pipes and steel beams. So it looks like it's 4 and 3. Now, 4 of these does 1 steel beam, so that requires 60 per minute. And at full capacity, we are producing 45. So we got 90, and then we'll have, oh, good Lord, we might have to do the same thing where we split things. We'll have 90 here, so we're not going to be operating at full efficiency as far as that's concerned, unless we had 4 of these guys and 2 of these guys. Or we could just overclock these ones, but then our resource use is going to be a little bit crazy. Because we have, what is it? 45 times 5, so that's 90. Then we have 180. And 180 plus 40 is 220. So then we'll have 225. But we will have a wiggle room for about 15. That's not going to do the case, though, because we'll have to overclock these to 200%, which means we'll be using 90 of these. So we'll have to... Man, we have a long ways to go before we can make this one work as efficiently as possible. However, we do know how many that one takes, so I'm curious what you take. Okay, so it's 30 of these. And that is... And this produces 45. So we'll have 90 here, so we can actually, via 2 of these guys at 90, we can do 3 of these. So why don't I go ahead and, if I have the resources, I don't. I have the resources actually for these 3, so why don't I go ahead and do something like this. Let's see. How do I want to get this to work? Because we want to offset it like, let's do it like this. Give it, because we want it to be kind of in the middle, actually. So we want it here in the middle. Is that enough space to get things together? Now that it's in the middle, since we did leave a singular space, we'll just be offset just a smidge from what that is. I don't think this is going to be enough space to get the... Well, we'd need a merger splitter combo, so it's not quite enough space. So we will have to go out. I think what we'll have to do is go out. Let's start from the middle. As close to the middle as possible. Let's go out to just here, so that way we can get it as close as possible. All right, so we should be able to throw a merger kind of right off of here, and then we can run a splitter off to 3. Let's actually see, let's kind of get that up as a mock draft. We want logistics, we want a merger. We want this thing to be like as tight here as possible. Then we should be able to... That's funny that it can go through those power poles. And, well, that's not going to work. Nope, 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 nope. I'm sorry. Don't like that. All right, so what we'll do is we'll actually have to do a merger just a little further up, I think. And then we'll have to put a splitter right up against that. Yeah, because now we have that. And then we'll be able to throw this in here. Let's go ahead and throw these back in that because I don't want to worry about it. And then we need to see if we can't get the splitter ready to go. And we're going to try our best to butt this thing right up against it. And we are able to see everything. So we may... Okay, we're going to be able to get that to work. Very slowly. Very slowly. All right, and we're just going to kind of let them saturate, and we're not going to actually build anything here. Because the next step is going to be making, what do we got, 90, and I said, what is it, 135? Yeah. Yep, so we're going to have 135 coming off of this, and we need to have enough for, what was it? Yeah, 120 for 2 of them. That's not bad. Okay, so we can do 2 of them off of this pretty efficiently. So we'll just do a merger and then a splitter. So we'll merge right off of this first one. Yeah. We'll make it look a little bit neater because we have the space to do so. Okay, I hate that pole so much. But it is what it is. We can't win them all. So we're going to have the merger, and then we're just going to give the splitter just a little bit of wiggle room. Yeah. Actually, you know what? Let's keep it all even. I know, I'm a horrible person who lies. But we're just going to keep that splitter even. Because it's going to drive me bonkers if I don't. And then we'll be able to run it into 2 machines. One right off of the other. And then once we get more efficiency and stuff, we can actually start on expanding that. But for now, this will get us started. We just need to have the plates to get it all up and running. That being said, let's look at our power. We should still have some pretty decent wiggle room power-wise. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the main base. So that way I can get the 2 things that we need here. And then we're going to see if we can't get this thing up and running and make it all work. And we'll be right back to Geno's. All right, we are back to Geno's, and now we have what we need to make the beautiful world a happy place. I think what we're going to try to do here is I got to figure out, I think what I'm going to try to do is, yeah, that's interesting because I was able to make those, but and this is at the same level as those are. That is incredibly interesting. Well, either way, we are going to be able to craft 2 of these guys here, and I'm just going to put them kind of side by side just to get them out there, and that'll leave us wiggle room when we double the production a little bit to be able to add a 3rd one. Now, that being said, what we do have to do is run a couple power lines. I think we're going to run it right up to here, and we're just going to go straight out. I think we're going to try to do it right at each of these intersections just before you get to these beastie boys, because it shouldn't encroach on much of anything. And if it does, I mean, we can always rework it. We technically don't need them to loop, but I kind of want them to just to say that I have it. Let's go ahead and do a merger right out of the gate here. And then we'll send it out this way. And then we should be able to take that bad boy in. Over here. Over here. And then we should be able to take that and add a storage container. Once again, knowing that it's not operating at 100% efficiency, we know that these are going to be a slow-moving process, but it's going to be a beautiful process nonetheless. We go back here, do another merger. Yeah. The other one's right here. Can we make it happen? I don't know. This will even things out if we can. Oh my lord, dude. That's absurd. That is so absurd. Okay, let's go ahead and do one of these bad boys. I kind of hate this game sometimes with how it chooses to clip or not clip. Like this, if this is how these splitters were set up so that you could just punch it right into these guys, that for me would be a big win. But I understand why they don't do that, because if you punch it into like a miner, for instance, like this guy, if you punch a splitter right into that guy at 240, but you only have the capacity for, what is that, 60 belts? Well, you could split, in theory, you could split that 3 ways. What's 240 divided by 3? Let's figure that out. Let's do some real math. I mean, that's 80. So you are losing 20 efficiency per belt. But right out of the gate, if you can overclock those guys on a pure node, you can go to feeding 3 60 belts, which can mine and smelt so much more. So I understand why they can't do it. I just wish that was something you could integrate into like these guys, like these crafters and constructors and stuff. It should be such a unbelievably nice like resource. Once again, I understand why they didn't do it, because that would be a little too cheese. But it would look beautiful. Maybe they could, you know, like find a way to affect it so that it only, you know, splits as much as the belt's coming out. I don't know how they would balance that so that you couldn't do it, but this just looks so nice aesthetically. I love it. It looks like it's one giant machine. It really, really does. Either way, everything is powered on. We do need to get these guys making the steel beamy beams. Beamy, beamy, beam, beam, boys. And these guys are all on the rods or the pipes or whatever they are. We're making things. We are making things, and we are storing things. Once again, not at 100% efficiency, but we are making it happen. Either way, I think that's going to do it for today's episode, because we got a lot done in regards to setting things up for when we do become a little bit more efficient in our transportation of things with belts and whatnot. So we are definitely future-proofing ourselves. We are not optimizing what we have currently, but we are future-proofing ourselves, which is most important, because that is what we are on a mission to do. Now, we did automate the pipes here. So we are in the process of automating everything we would need to use in regards to upgrading and progressing as quickly as possible. So that is a great sign. Power looks beautiful. We do currently have the stuff turned off over there, but that's something I can work with in the future. Either way, Thank you guys so much for joining me in today's episode of Satisfactory. We got the steel production moving, and it feels really stinking good. If you've made it this far and you are not a member of the community, feel free to hit the subscribe button because we would love to have you here. It'd be an amazing adventure, and I'd love to share it with you guys. If you are a member of the community and have not hit the bell notification icon, why? Because it keeps you updated on literally everything, okay? It keeps you updated. We upload content every Monday through Friday via pre-uploads on YouTube. We do live stream every Monday and Wednesday. Wednesdays are set in stone at 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. Mondays are a little convoluted because of my actual real-life job schedule. I'm going to try to see if we can get something a little more stable. This previous Monday, we went ahead and did a 10 to 2 live stream or a 10:30 to 2 live stream. And I think this next Monday, we're going to be trying to do something along the lines of maybe a 7 to 11 type live stream or 7 to 10. I've been trying to keep those streams closer to a 3-hour section, but I will keep you guys updated when I work things out with my work schedule and that to try to make things as efficient as possible. Either way, thank you guys so much for joining me. Remember that I love you guys. And as always, I'm going to shout my filthy little cake hole. I love you, and we will see you next time. Toodles! Oh, gosh. I about knocked my camera right off the thing. I'm so smart.